time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org. जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। ऑनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या ऑनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। ऑनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's Good Morning
Bay.
आप सभी लोगों की तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
सलाम अलैकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
అందరికీ వందనము,
जय स्वामीनारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण,
जय जिनेंद्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे याली मदद,
मौलाली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीचर मतलब बोले के नीसा बोला बरजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे मैसेज फालतू बाबा
एंड ऑफ कोर्स माई सेल्फ फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम दैट्स गोना मेक इट टोटली एक्साइटिंग एंड टोटली मस्तानी बन जाने।
और बरजान क्विक लुक एट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन द रोड्स, रास्ते का हाल आप लोग हमें देते हैं टोटली सस्ते में।
It's time for the Bandu Traffic Update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
That's right, Bandu. Wherever you are, give us a call right here on your favorite Danhoke Radio Hotties. And let me tell you, Bandu, there is a kind of a big backlog in San Jose. You got to watch out for a traffic collision on 280 northbound out of 880, Bandu. The left lane and the center lanes are blocked all the way until 87. So it's a huge backlog over there. Watch out for that. And staying on 280 itself, a brush fire very close to 280 and 101. This is actually on the Story Road exhibit. This is a very popular place for actually fires because of dry grass in that region. The right shoulder is affected there. People, it's more of a stopping of traffic. The CHP is on the scene already. The fire department is there trying to put it out. But of course, be very careful. Drive safely in that region. You suddenly experience the bottleneck. So if you're speeding, don't. And right up, let me tell you, the traffic ka to haal to theek thak hai. And yeah, and what a wonderful day it's going to be, Faltwani. This is what we pay high tax here, Faltwani, and the property tax so expensive here in the Bay Area.
Why, Alto Baba? Because
sunny skies, so Faltwani, blue skies, little bit of clouds here and there. Temperature maximum around 75 degrees. You know, you guys are going to be sitting in your offices, cramping around your computers right now. Now, people going out are going to enjoy this for sure. Yeah, but don't wait, when we take a break in between those particular things, right, it's going to be interesting. You can actually take a break and you can actually come back and you can get back to your work for sure. So, but nevertheless, all day sunny today, but it's not too hot. It's going to be perfect weather. Good time for shopping, I guess, Faltwani.
Yeah,
not online shopping because Fatrin does online shopping, does not go into the thing. So I would suggest go patronize the businesses on the main street, Bandu. That's what I would suggest people to do right now. So that was the traffic update and weather update. Fatwani, are we ready for our news for our Bandus?
Yes, absolutely. But let me tell everybody who's a pepperoni pizza lover and you get those DiGiorno pizzas from Safeway or wherever you get it. Well, Bandujan, Nestle is recalling over 27,000 pounds of DiGiorno pepperoni pizza.
What? Seriously?
Yes. Please check your freezers if you have a DiGiorno pizza because A packaging mix-up has prompted a recall of a batch of DiGiorno pepperoni pizzas. Nestle USA, which owns the frozen pizza brand, has recalled over 26-ounce boxes labeled DiGiorno crispy pan crust pepperoni pizza because they actually contain 3-meat crispy pan crust pizza. The 3-meat pizza includes soy protein. It's in the beef topping and sausage crumbles and can be harmful to people with soy allergies, is what they're saying.
So what's going to happen to all this? They're going to go trash it?
I have
Why
no
can't
idea.
they
Maybe
feed the
they'll
people
just
who are hungry?
I don't know.
They repackage it? I don't think they repackage it. There's going to be trash, I suppose.
Yeah, I think.
Or maybe sent out to other countries. Why can't they send it to other places where they're okay with all the allergies and everything?
I don't know, Altaba, but that's a good question to ask them.
And in the meanwhile, Bajan, patronize local business for sure. That's what I would request everybody do. That's my agenda for today, Fadwani.
Yeah.
The Ashleet Vani is telling you, Bajan, you can do some lip sync with that, Fadwani. People think you have a good voice at the time. That's right. See, I know Altaba is the best, and he's the world's. Hello. That's not what you gotta do. Now we gotta talk about news. Let's go.
All right. So let's go on over and look at what is happening. Well, Janet Yellen is warning lawmakers that the U.S. Treasury is going to be hitting the debt limit as of October 18th. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on a Tuesday again warned lawmakers that the nation was close to exhausting its federal borrowing capabilities, now set for October 18th, and urged Congress to act in order to avert serious harm to the economy. At that point, we expect the Treasury would be left with very limited resources that would be depleted quickly, she wrote in her latest letter to congressional leaders. It is uncertain whether we would continue to meet all the nation's commitments after that date, she added in the letter, one day after Senate Republicans rejected a measure to raise the nation's borrowing limit to pay for previously incurred government spending. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, the Senate, in fact, has especially what's his name?
What's his name? You tell me his name, I'll tell you the
Dude.
how do you spell it?
I think his name is Mitch. Is it Mitch McConnell? Yeah, it is Mitch McConnell and Ted Cruz. They are now vowing to block a new Democratic debt ceiling ploy. Republican U.S. Senator Ted Cruz vowed on Tuesday to block Democrats from obtaining consent to suspend the federal debt ceiling through a simple majority vote. That's what the Democrats are finally thinking of doing, because all the Republicans are doing is trying to block the government funding bill so that none of Biden's agenda, the bills on the agenda, are going to get passed. The Democrats are exploring all of their options to avert a government shutdown this week after Republicans yesterday shot down a measure to fund federal agencies and suspend the debt limit. U.S. Senate Democratic Whip Dick Durbin told MSNBC, "We're exploring all of our possibilities," he said in an interview on Tuesday, but declined to give any details. Durbin also added that it would take as many as 3 to 4 weeks if Democrats were to try to use a process known as reconciliation to pass a funding measure with fewer than 60 votes. Frankly, it really isn't practical for us to consider that. On Monday, the sharply divided Senate failed to advance the legislation ahead of two fast approaching deadlines, with current federal government funding due to expire late Thursday and the U.S. Treasury set to exhaust its borrowing capability between October 15th and November 4th. So that's something else that's a matter of concern. In news about Afghanistan, Manajan, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told Congress on Tuesday that the Afghan army's sudden collapse caught the Pentagon off guard as he acknowledged miscalculations in America's longest war, including corruption and damaged morale in Afghan ranks. The fact that the Afghan army, we and our partners trained, simply melted away, in many cases without firing a shot, took us all by surprise, Austin told the Senate Armed Services Committee. It would be dishonest to claim otherwise. Austin was speaking at the start of 2 days of what are expected to be some of the most contentious hearings in the memory over the chaotic end to the war in Afghanistan, which cost the lives of U.S. troops and civilians and left the Taliban back in power. The accused Georgia spa shooter pleads not guilty to 4 murder charges. The Georgia man who was accused of conducting a shooting massacre at Atlanta area day spas in March is now pleading not guilty to 4 counts of murder. for which the prosecutor is seeking the death penalty. An attorney for Robert Aaron Long, 22 years old, entered his plea at a brief hearing before Fulton County Superior Court Judge Ural Glanville in Atlanta. Long is accused of killing a total of 8 people, most of them of Asian descent, at 3 spas in or near Atlanta. He pleaded not guilty in July to 4 of the slayings in Cherokee County. In other national news, Panajan, this is something called 4-alarm fire. That's right. A tight Virginia governor's race holds warning signs for Democrats. Almost a year after President Joe Biden trounced Donald Trump in Virginia, the state's unexpectedly tight race for governor has alarmed Democrats and left Republicans hopeful that they can win back crucial suburban voters who left the party during Trump's tumultuous presidency. With early voting underway, the nonpartisan Cook Report has labeled the November 2 contest between Democrat Terry McAuliffe and a former Virginia governor and Republican businessman Glenn Youngkin a toss-up. A poll last week by the University of Maryland, Washington, gave Youngkin an advantage with likely voters. And the gunman in the 2018 Maryland newspaper massacre has now been sentenced to 5 life terms. A Maryland judge on Tuesday sentenced this gunman who killed 5 people at the Capital Gazette newsroom in Annapolis in 2018 to 5 life prison sentences without the possibility of parole. The office of the state's attorney for Anne Arundel County has said. A jury in July found Jared Ramos, 41 years old, criminally responsible for the massacre, one of the deadliest attacks on a U.S. media outlet. And of course, Banajan, in local news, this is interesting. A mountain lion has been spotted in the backyard of a Daly City home. Police department reported shortly after 7 a.m. that the animal was in the yard of the home in 4100 block of Callan Boulevard and that local authorities were trying to contact the State Department of Fish and Wildlife to respond. People in the area are asked not to go into their backyards and not to go outside with their pets during this particular response.
Where is this?
Oh my God, there's a picture of it. It's so scary.
So sweet. Oh, looks like a big cat.
It's a mountain lion.
So what?
Yeah.
It just worked out quite a bit.
This is in Daly City.
Daly City.
Yeah. A San Francisco sheriff's deputy faces multiple charges, including felony criminal threats and sexual battery, following an alleged violent outburst at a party last week, according to police. Deputy Dominic Barsetti, 32 years old, was at a small party at a home on Josepha Avenue on Thursday night when he allegedly broke items, assaulted victims, and threatened to return to the residence to shoot people, police said, citing victim statements. Barsetti left the home before being detained without incident, police have said. Kaiser Permanente is coming under fire, Banajan. A San Diego woman claims Kaiser Permanente denied her the mental health care that she was entitled to, and at least one Kaiser therapist and the American Psychological Association say her story is similar to what they're seeing with many other patients. Emily Pasillo told NBC 7 that she was diagnosed with a general anxiety disorder several years ago. She said she met regularly with a therapist who helped her manage her mental health challenges. But when she moved from Boston to San Diego and started a new job in early 2021, she had to find a new health insurance provider. She said she signed up for coverage under Kaiser Permanente and started trying to find a new therapist as soon as possible. As part of the screening process, Pasillo said she was asked to complete a short questionnaire that asked about her mental state in the previous 2 weeks. She said based on that screening, she was told she did not qualify for therapy. She said she spoke to at least 3 other therapists and she continued to try to get approved for treatment. She said one therapist told her she could only seek services if she entered a mental health crisis. So this is now, a huge case against Kaiser Permanente, and Kaiser Permanente spokesperson is saying that they can't comment on individual patients, but they said the advice Pasillo reports receiving from a therapist does not align with their philosophy and their approach approach to providing mental health care services. Residents are urged to apply for rent and utility relief ahead of the eviction moratorium's end. State officials urged residents across the state on Monday to seek COVID-19 rent relief funding in advance of the state's eviction moratorium that's going to be ending later this week. The moratorium, which ends on Thursday, has prevented property owners and landlords from evicting tenants who have lost income due to the pandemic and subsequently missed rent payments, provided tenants pay a quarter of their rent each month. With the deadline in mind, State Business, Consumer Services and Housing Agency Secretary Lourdes Castro Ramirez urged renters to take advantage of the more than $7 billion that the state has made available for rent and utility payment assistance. And if you are one of those people, Banajan, you definitely want to look this information up. There is a lot of money that is made available as rent relief and utility relief.
Well, actually, I also was recently, I came across some people who work at the county. There also is a relief from the county as well. So if you want to apply for the relief, if you want to get more information about that, do send us a message. They are, it's open for people who are, what's it called? It's called below mark, what do you call that? Income.
Below market income.
Yeah.
Below market rate income.
Yeah, and it's for people who actually have difficulties and who are having problem with rents. There is support from the county as well. If you want to get information, you can always contact us, but we'll be happy to connect you with those people. So that's one of the what we do as Media Mahima. And that was your news for you guys. Faltwani, what else we have?
Just want to say that Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill which says that every registered California voter will get a ballot mailed to them in future elections. So you will get it in the mail, so you can actually... this law makes permanent a change adopted during the pandemic for 2020 election and the recent recall against Gavin Newsom.
Are we excited about it?
So yes, of course.
We should be.
And also, one thing that we are very excited as disability justice activists, Bandujan, is the fact that the bill got signed into law that people with disabilities will not be paid a sub-minimum wage. They will be paid a minimum of minimum wage.
High time, and yes, thank you. And for all the people actually made this possible, we all were advocating for it. And of course, yes, it is everybody's effort. And that's what tells you, right? Democracy actually has won for a change, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's no longer rule of the majority as in the Republican.
Yes, exactly. So, and please remember that, Bandujan, that, it requires everybody to come together. And for those of you who didn't know, let's make it very, very clear. People with disabilities were paid below minimum wage.
Yeah.
And because they were not necessarily adding value
That's what they
to
thought.
the workforce. What was touted.
But it's a good thing right now in California, things are changing. And as you know, California generally is the leader of many things, and I hope it happens across the nation as well.
Right, absolutely. Do you have a Gani ka Kira before we
I do. I would suggest we just do the world headlines, Faltwani, because we got to get into the Gani Kira, coming to the close of a show already. So go ahead.
Well, leaders of European countries will discuss surging energy prices when they meet next month as governments scramble to cushion households from the soaring cost of gas and power. Russia opens a new criminal case against Alexei Navalny and threatens to, confine him to jail for more time. They sharply escalated a campaign against jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny on Tuesday, opening a new criminal case against President Putin's fiercest domestic critic that could allow the authorities to hand him another decade in jail. Turkey is going to be pressuring Russia to restore calm in Syria's Idlib region. They're possibly looking at expanding Moscow's sales of military defense systems to Ankara, Turkish officials have said. Vladimir Putin is hosting Tayyip Erdogan at Russia's Black Sea resort of Sochi, where the Turkish leader will press for a return to a ceasefire they agreed last year to end a Russian and Syrian army assault on Turkey-backed fighters in Syria's Idlib region. In news from India, let us tell you that Navjot Singh Sidhu has plunged the Punjab Congress into yet another crisis. Even before the government in the state under the first Dalit Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi could even settle down. This impulsive politician, Mr. Sidhu, who fought a long leadership tussle with veteran party leader Amrinder Singh and was instrumental in his ouster as CM on Tuesday, surprised everyone as he stepped down as Punjab Congress chief. Amrinder, who was unceremoniously removed from his chief ministry and had openly spoken about his humiliation, took a dig at Sidhu, saying, "I told you so, he's not a stable man and not fit for the border state of Punjab." And in other news, Kanhaiya Kumar is joining Congress in presence of Rahul Gandhi, and Gujarat MLA Jignesh Mevani extends support to Kanhaiya Kumar.
All right, they're grooming him to be the next, Prime Minister of India. Kanhaiya Kumar, yeah. Kanhaiya Kumar is vocal about fighting against Modi. Right? He doesn't like Modi at all.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And he's the youth icon.
Okay, never mind. A day after a 3-story building in Lakasandra in Bangalore came crashing down, a portion of another dilapidated structure also collapsed. The staircase passage of the staff quarter building of Bangalore Milk Union Limited near Dairy Circle collapsed in the morning. Although luckily no one is reported to have been hurt in this incident. And that's pretty much what we have. And if you want to catch up on IPL live scores, the Mumbai Indians versus, Punjab, Kings 11 Punjab is right now, Mumbai loses 2 wickets in 2 balls right away. That's the latest update that we have. And in 20 overs, the Kings Punjab scored 135 for 6 and Mumbai Indians are 70 for 3. More on all these stories on MediaMahima.com. That's all we have time for. Here is our Ganika Kida.
Alright, Banja, with this we're going to be saying have a wonderful or terrific Tuesday. We'll see you in the evening live with the Pam Pam show. Tab tak ke liye हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा अंधेरी रात के
Bandujan, this is your darling pyari Mahima ki Dilari Faltu Rani. I hope you're enjoying every one of these songs that we have lined up for you, Bandujani. This is Radio D Hotties, where entertainment, engagement, excitement, every